I have the pleasure today of actually announcing the host for today's webinar, Micheal Parrella. He's the founder and CEO of Full Contact Online Marketing, a martial arts website design and development and marketing company. I've had the pleasure of going to his office. Just amazing. A lot of innovations going on down there. Just an amazing thing. If you ever get a chance to go out there, you should go check it out yourself. He's also the CEO of I Love Kickboxing, the fitness franchise, MAProNewsletter.com, MAPowerlistings.com, and several top-grossing kickboxing facilities in New York, which actually, same thing. I was actually at his facilities a couple weeks ago, and they were amazing. The energy, the excitement, the model, it was just an amazing experience. And I know that Mike saw my passion towards them when I was in there. It was just an amazing amount of energy. Love the model. Love the things he's doing with it. And ChampionsWay is proud to have him working with us. He's also a published author, MA Success Magazine, a monthly columnist, and a member of the Member Solutions Business Advisory Team. Micheal has several coaching and mastermind programs that he runs for martial arts school owners of all levels and styles throughout the country. So without further ado, I'd like to open up the mic for Mike. And Mike, we're looking forward to your webinar today, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule.
Cool. Thank you, Nick. I am very happy to be here, and I want to thank ChampionsWay for having me or allowing me to speak to all the Seaway clients. And I'm really excited about the things that we've all talked about and things we got brewing for the future, which are kind of under wraps right now, but everyone's going to find out soon enough. Anyway, so before I do anything, I mean, I don't know if I know a lot of the clients that are on the call, but I want to tell you guys a little bit of who I am. And pretty much, although that's like a badass picture of me, which is kind of cool, I'm not really that badass in real life, though. I've been in the martial arts for over 30 years. I've been a school owner since 1991. I've owned multiple locations, and I have done pretty well for myself. My background is in Chinese martial arts, and I didn't have a traditional kind of school upbringing. I was taught by my teacher, usually in his apartment in Brooklyn or on a rooftop or in a local park. And so I didn't have a lot of the dogma associated with how to run a martial arts business. Matter of fact, I didn't know anything about it. The only thing I knew, supposedly, was that if you made a lot of money, then you must be a sellout. So that was the only paradigm that I had. And I got over that one pretty quick. And probably by the time I was 24, I opened up when I was 24, and by the time I was 26, I was making about $100,000 a year. And at that point, pretty much the only reason why I was making that kind of money, that was how much I was net, my take home, or my pay was before taxes. The only reason why I was making that is because I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. I thought that's what everyone made. So that being said, I had a really great run. I'd have up to 5 schools. I had sold some locations. I'd also closed a location. And I had a lot of success. But for some reason, no matter how much success I had, I didn't think I really managed it well. So if I made $150,000 that year, I managed to somehow spend $151,000. So I don't know how I did. But coming into a little bit before we want to call, quote unquote, the recession, about 2007, I was cranking, making great money. I had, at that point, just one location, and I was making almost $50,000 a month, and it was doing swell. 2007 came, and a string of really bad decisions, including being approached by this Fugazi investor guy, fighting with my wife about it, who was an integral part of the school, which we eventually, fought, to finality about, and we eventually got divorced. But ultimately, everything that went wrong was me. So I took a school and went from $50,000 in a month in January 2007. At the end of the year, the end of that 1 year, I had brought the gross income in December of 2007 down to $9,800 and change. So that's an amazing feat. I hope none of you guys can do that, but I actually showed up for work every day as well. So that was even more amazing. So at that point, I make a joke, I was broker than broke. I cannot find better words to explain how broke I was. I was so broke that this was my reality. And for those of you guys who know the story or not, no matter how messed up you guys were, I bet you it wasn't this bad. I had to park my car a few blocks away from my house because it was being repoed. So I had to hide it around. It was like a crazy walk of shame, like at home. I'd walk home with a hoodie at night. People thought I was a criminal because I'm walking at 11 o'clock at night, 5 blocks in a residential neighborhood, which is kind of weird. So I had everyone peeking out the windows at me. My house is in foreclosure. I was holding it off from the bank. My only employee that I had left with me was a guy named Ryan, who still works with me. Now it's 13 years in total. And his mother was a hoarder. And for those of you guys who watch those hoarding shows where they hoard, animals or boxes or crap, whatever it is, she hoarded food, fortunately. And I was on a high-test diet of expired microwave TV dinners. And no joke, lean cuisines and a few other ones. But I had some ethics where I had some kind of code where I would only eat them if they were 2005 or newer. So I had a cutoff of 2 years. I had to steal electricity to keep my business open. We had to break into the electric meter, almost went to jail. Cops came and everything. Then we had to steal it from a business next to us at the time. It was awful. I mean, everything I did to stay open. And I had 2 labs at the time, 2 dogs. I had to go to Coinstar, which is like that machine that you dump your money into in the supermarket. And you have to take the receipt to the register, and she calls out that they're giving you money from Coinstar. It's so embarrassing. And that's only the stuff that I haven't suppressed, that I can actually remember off the top of my head. But otherwise, it was bad, man. It was really bad. I lost my lease. I was getting kicked out of the facility. I had to have Ryan go to the landlord and let him know that he was buying the facility from me so he could get a new lease. I mean, it was the worst, man. I was done. So I was like, I'm out of here, man. I'm sick of the business. I've been doing it for 20 years at that point or something. I was like, I'm just so tired of this and so frustrated with not making money or not making money consistently or just it being hard. Being like, why is it so friggin' hard? So I decided I was going to write an internet book and become a millionaire. And not. So I decided that, the whole internet book millionaire thing wasn't going to happen. But I started really connecting with some people who were great at selling information marketers, guys who were in the fitness industry that were fitness marketing, and it was really, really interesting the things they were doing to build their businesses and how they did things so different from the way that we had done things in the martial arts industry. 18 hours a day, I studied marketing. I studied information marketing. I studied the buying habits of people. I studied every story and every anecdote and every book I could read about successful companies, how they marketed, how they treated their customers, all these things. I studied architecture, believe it or not. You'll find out why in a little bit. And design, how colors affected people, so many things. And I was like, I would sit in my house for like days at a time at the desk. I'd sit in my underwear all day. I wouldn't shave. I wouldn't shower sometimes for a day or two. If you know me, I don't have a lot of hair options. So I grow all kinds of beards. And it was a rough time, man. It really was. And I feel like I emerged at one point, and I had some new ideas. And they probably weren't new ideas, but they were new ideas to me. But I came out and I decided to start marketing my martial arts school differently. And it started with the creation of a certain type of website that moved away from things like free 30-day offers and introductory lesson programs that were, trials that were free. And I started doing paid offers. And I started doing this a little over 4 years ago, and I think it was kind of like the first one in the industry really to do a paid offer. And built a website that had sales copy, proper headline, an opt-in box with an ethical bribe. I built a list. I promoted a brand. I did all these things, and I sold this. I sold the service online, and it was amazing. Like the first month that I built a website that would actually get introductory memberships online, I sold 19 of them, and I already knew how to drive some traffic to the website. But I was like, holy crap! I was like, I hadn't seen 19 people in 3 months, and we had signed up to 16 of them, like they were the last humans on Earth. And this is an important phrase I just said. Like we'll remember that for later on. But like they were the last humans on Earth. And the next month it was like 26 people. We closed 22. The next month it was 34 people. We closed 29. And next thing you know, I took the school from me in $10,000 a month, and I was up to doing 30 and 40 within about 5 or 6 months. It was crazy. I mean, a few months later we were enrolling 60 contracts a month. So it was really exciting. And I started to change the way I looked at the martial arts business. I had gone through every friggin' coaching program, mentored with everybody, you name it. I bought their package. I had their box stacked up in the corner of my room. I had all the stuff that you guys have. And really what happened for me was when I stopped looking at all that stuff, I know it sounds weird, and I started, it's kind of like when I stopped learning and I started thinking, things really changed for me. Right? And that was a big pivotal point. I stopped learning. I started thinking. And I decided how I wanted to position myself and how I wanted my business to be perceived by people. And really I found what made me happy. Instead of trying to fit the mold of, and this is kind of like a personal thing here, but like I didn't like the idea of the way a martial arts school owner acted and how he was so distant from his students and his clients. And And that wasn't me. I was like a social person. I wanted to be social, and I didn't want to follow be friendly but not friends, and I don't think that was a measure of success for me. So I don't want to have like a dualistic life. So anyway, let me fast forward for this. I start a company. I do all these things. And let me tell you where I am at this point right now. So where I am today is I've got 3 locations. They're operational. I have a 4th one that should be open in a few weeks. We're just finishing up. And I just signed a new lease for a new place in Manhattan. And I have another lease I'm going to sign for another one in Manhattan too. So the locations I have are doing exceptionally well. And when I tell you the numbers, it's kind of hard to believe. But I'm doing 300 plus contracts a month in these 3 locations. I'm grossing well over $200,000 a month in all 3 of them. I got one of them that does between 85 and 92 a month on average, and it's almost about to hit its 2-year anniversary. And I've been at that pace for 10 months already. I have a 340-unit franchise. I created ilovekickboxing.com, the country's fastest-growing fitness franchise. I created a marketing company that took the same ideas that I created for myself and offered them to martial arts schools throughout the world. And I created a consulting company where I work one-on-one with schools in group settings and one-on-one. And I help people to do some of the things that I've done that I think made me happy and worked really well. One of the cool things about when you hear about my locations is I work maybe 3 to 4 hours a month. That's it. And that's a no-joke actual number. I probably work about an hour a week on them. I have 1 meeting a month with the staff. And I really enjoy having those facilities, or if I go to visit, where I remember always having a love-hate relationship with my facilities in the past. And I do things very different now, and I'm going to share with you some of the things today of what is different and why it's happening for me. So first thing is, I title this How I Enroll 100 Plus Members a Month, and this is my blueprint for success in the martial arts. So I pretty much break this down to 6 parts, 6 main components. And the first part is marketing. The second part is decor and design. The third part is your team, followed by customer service, your product, and mentorship. All right, so these are the 6 things. We're going to go over these one by one. So the first is marketing. And I love this picture because it really exemplifies what marketing is. And some people think marketing is advertising. Marketing is, a VIP card or a Take One card or an ad in the newspaper. That's not marketing. That's advertising, which is like a finger of marketing and the hand of marketing. Okay, but what marketing is, I want you to always think about this picture. Marketing is getting your message into the minds and homes of your potential customers. Right? That's what it is. So clearly, this guy has accomplished his point here. So the first thing that has to happen nowadays, and I'm going to kill the next guy that I hear that says, "Oh, I'm a dinosaur. I don't know about this stuff." Well, dinosaurs become extinct, my friends. All right. You need to know about this stuff. It's like saying, well, I don't really know how to sign people up, which is what people said 20 years ago in the martial arts industry. And they either learned how to sign people up or they got another job somewhere else. You can't ignore these things, okay, when it comes to websites and the internet, which we'll talk about in a second. So with websites, you got to have, for martial arts, you're selling martial arts, okay? The problem with most websites is they're information-based. But the problem is they're the wrong information-based. They're not information that gets anyone to make a decision to buy now or to join now or to come in now. There's stuff that people look at, they have to be massively, massively interested to want to call. The way it should really work is schools should have a direct response website. It's the type of websites that we build and the types that I have in my own facilities. And they're websites that cause people to take an action now. And the interesting thing is, I posted up a bunch of these things last 2 weeks online on some Facebook groups that we're all in, is we get enrollments at 11 o'clock at night. We get enrollments on a Friday night at 9 o'clock, times when you're not answering your phones. Now, if you do not give these people an opportunity to enroll online, see what happens is they wind up trying to remember it for tomorrow or when you're open again, or they go search all over a brand new search and find a different martial arts school this time, and they call them. And it's just a big mistake, man. The website is not designed, should not have a bunch of stuff on it about you and what last year's Halloween party looked like. It's stuff that gets people that answer the questions they have about how to do it, when to do it, if they should do it, is it going to be fun, are they going to get hurt, are there other people that have experienced results, what kind of results will I get? All those questions need to be answered on a website. So you have to have a direct response website, a website that gets you online enrollments, it gets memberships. Even if your website sucks, and not like sucks in a good way, like sucks in leads, sucks in a bad way, just sticking a freaking PayPal button on there and just saying, hey, introductory special is going to get you something, all right? Won't get a lot, but it'll get you something more than you're getting now. So the next part is, now that you have a website, you got to become a master at the internet. Again, I'm a dinosaur. I don't know these things. Oh, these thumb things, they're very strange to me. This is crazy, man. You got to make use of the internet. All your customers now and for future are using the internet. You got to be involved in it. You got to make sure you're managing your review sites, business directories and review sites, getting a lot of positive reviews so you can stand out from competition. You've got to learn to drive traffic from different sources. You've got to advertise on classified sites. You've got to use Facebook correctly. You've got to do some form of internet advertising, whether it's Facebook, Google, Bing, or Yahoo, or all of them. You've got to leverage your current members to refer people through the internet. You've got to run contests, everything from profile picture contests to caption contests to membership and referral contests. You've got to do all these things with the internet, right? So, and again, if you don't know these things, that's okay, because all the information you need to know about these things is available to you. How do I set up an online contest? Type it into Google. What is the best way to advertise my business online? The Google gods will tell you something. And if you know people in the industry or that are doing things successfully, reach out and talk to people and see what people are using well. Look at your competitors and see what they're doing. That doesn't necessarily mean they're succeeding, but you can see what's around in your area and who's using what. But I think the three pay-per-click solutions are going to be Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Yahoo and Bing occupy about 35 to 37% of all the martial arts searches that we get for all our clients, and we're looking at over 500 clients even globally right now. But the cool thing about it is very few schools advertise on those two networks, so you can usually get the pay-per-click links to you for literally a third of what they cost on Google. But there's no point in doing that stuff if people can't buy now, because you're going to be getting people to link to your website or click onto your website at 11 o'clock at night or 6 in the morning, when they're searching their mail before work and things like that. So, okay, so let's move on. Next thing is direct mail. There are 3 times a year where I found direct mail to be really successful. And when I say how I feel or what I think, understand this. I have a 50,000-foot perspective on traffic online, what people buy online, their offers that are successful. We have done, since the time I started doing this online, collectively between kickboxing, kids martial arts, adult martial arts, karate, Hapkido, MMA, Muay Thai, all those things we market for. We've done over 340,000 online enrollments. 340,000 people, oh no, over 304,000, sorry. 4,000 people picked up a credit card and paid for a membership. Now, I track all the data, as much of it as we can collect. So it gives us a very interesting outline as far as what people are doing, when they buy, what times of the day. I can tell you what periods of time, what class schedules people seem to favor in different categories, whether it's kids or adults or fitness. I can tell you the best times of day to, if you are going to do pay-per-click, what times of day to do it, what days of the week not to do it. Don't do it on Saturday and Sunday. Take a 7-day budget, consolidate it from Monday through Thursday, because those are the days that people buy the most. So if there are people who are more in a buying mood on Monday through Thursday, I want to get more ads out on those days rather than the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when it seems like we have a huge decline in online enrollments and online traffic. So the direct mail times, and people think like print is no good. I'm going to talk about print in a second. Print and direct mail are great, but it's where you're sending people. Nowadays, I don't want to call you, I want to text you. Most of us feel that way. I don't want to get involved in a phone call. It's a big commitment. I don't want to talk about this and that. I want to get to my point and talk by text. People have changed the way they buy things too. So they want to have an action. They want to be able to go somewhere. So when you send them a direct mail piece, you need to make sure that you are sending them to a website so they can take advantage of an offer. They are getting this piece of mail. They come home at 5, 6 o'clock. Mom's got to take care of the kids, do a bunch of stuff. By the time she puts them to bed and she's finally taking a Valium or a glass of wine, it's 8, 9 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock, and she's going to unwind. She's going to look at her mail. She's going to check her email, and then she'll look at a website. She'll be very relaxed, hopefully, and the message that your website is trying to convey will penetrate because she's not going to be distracted by anything else. So you need to make sure direct mail is sending people to a website, okay? And forget using a QR code, by the way, just so you know. QR codes have a function, but the function should be hidden content or a website domain that's too long to write. Okay, and if you want to, go to a website for the online special, and if you want to see, if you want to learn say if I was advertising MMA, I'd say, hey, you want to learn 3 techniques that can take down a guy of any size, in a matter, that you can learn in a matter of hours. Click on that, click on the QR code to see these special videos. Or if you want to direct them to, videos for testimonials. Hey, to find out the craziest success story we've ever had, click on the QR code. Something that's a hook that will get them interested, but make it different and like not gimmicky, but make it like cool, man. This is why I'm going through the trouble of opening my phone and the app and I'm scanning it. Not just don't put a website and scan it, because by the time I open up my app on my phone and scan it, I would have typed it in 2 seconds anyway. So direct mail. Okay, here's the times. Right. So let me get my ADD in check and get back to this. You're in the August, September area, okay, during back to school, and it works well for kids and for adults. You have the May and June, which is great for people getting ready to get in shape for the summer, and also moms preparing for summer camp for kids. And it is the, obviously, December, January, and even December to January, February. We've had a lot of success mailing out the last 2 weeks of the month. I know Christmas is coming and everything else, but in December, people are still responding very well to direct mail pieces when it comes to fitness. We found out in January, still a lot of kids, for some reason we go to school so many years, we're still programmed to think like September is a new start, January is a new start, and June is an ending, or a start of summer. So follow those rules, works real well. EDDM, the everyday direct mail, is good to use, but there's a variety of services. I use one that's, what the heck is it called? Whatever, I can't think right now. But I really can't think. But there's a bunch of different services that do fitness marketing, martial arts marketing, stuff that you could look online to have them mail out a direct mail piece to their own list and stuff that you can rent. So the other thing is effective print. And it's really funny because when I went to that cave and I started learning a lot about marketing, I learned more about marketing, direct response marketing, that is. I learned more in like 6 months than I had learned in like almost 20 years of the martial arts. And what I learned was the martial arts got it all wrong. We had no understanding. The guys who were making ads had no freaking clue as to what was going to make someone respond. It was really hit or miss. You guys run ads, and most times, you got to be honest, they never work. They don't work not because print sucks, because the ad sucked. Right? That's what you got to realize. Print still works, okay? Not as much. It's not read as much. I'm not sitting around reading newspapers and magazines like I did at one point, or neither are you. But if you get, a direct mail piece out, if you use print in certain ways, and I think real good print to use, believe it or not, is still, even though it's kind of old school, and I'm not a huge fan of it, it works. 3x4 cards, bombing parking lots. If your school's in a shopping center, a strip center, or a mall, bombing parking lots works, man. Every day we bomb a parking lot. If we put out 500 cards a day, you don't get less than 1 web special a day from it. So, and that will result in 15, 18 contracts a month. It's definitely worth it. 4x9 take-one cards have kind of been like the replacement of lead boxes. They're easier to get placed. They're maybe less maintenance than lead boxes. And again, but you need a website to catch all the information instead of them filling it out with a pen and a paper in a barbaric way. Nobody wants to do that. So print is still there. I'm not a big fan of newspaper and magazine stuff, though. Unless you're on the front page ad of a Clipper magazine or something that you're going to pay premium dollar for. But print, as far as getting it distributed locally, those 4x9 cards will turn into mini billboards in all kinds of locations. I use billboard marketing, even bus stop marketing, which works real well. But again, doesn't work well if you don't have a direct response website. So I think those things are good. And then certainly business to business. One of the things you guys can do, and I'll give you one quick tip here, you should be networking with the businesses in your area so that you are forming relationships or forging relationships with them. And the purpose is, the reason I say forge, is to kind of contain and forge this like security blanket to cover all the commerce in your area. So if you went into every store in the mall and say, hey, listen, man, none of us are referring anyone to each other. And as a result, we pay to have someone come to our mall, and then they go to do business somewhere else. They go to a different hair salon, a martial arts school, a restaurant. So you get all these guys together. I did it years ago where I staged a luncheon at a restaurant that was in our shopping center. And I literally went to 150-something businesses. I got 27 businesses to come and have this lunch here. And if I was selling them something, man, they would have bought it because they were eating out of my hand as far as the idea of, doing something together, where I wasn't referring anyone to the hair salon and the hair salon wasn't referring anyone to me. And the types of things that I set up was things like this. I got a free saltwater fish tank by allowing the fish guys to put it in my lobby, which was kick-ass, and at the same time it advertised their business. So that was kind of neat. I went to the hair salon, Fiorella's hair salon, and I said, hey, what day are you dead? And she goes, Tuesday, we're dead. I said, do you still pay your people? She goes, yep. I almost lose money every Tuesday. I said, listen, if I send all my people to you to go on Tuesdays, will you give them 50% off all your services? She's like, totally, absolutely awesome. I did that. I came out looking like a champ to all my people. She was super excited, promoted the heck out of my facility, and I did that same thing. It was like rinse, wash, and repeat several times, especially with things like vanity businesses, because women are going to go there for your fitness programs, and moms are going to go there for fitness programs and for kids. So definitely one tip you should start to do now, make a list, and we call it a syndicate, right? At least that's what I call it, where you want to create like a syndicate, man. All your peeps, all your businesses in the area that you're solid with. So start figuring out which ones are compatible with you, and you'd be surprised. Like the fish one wasn't compatible to us, or so I would have thought, but that fish tank attracted a lot of attention. We had people walk in sometimes to see the fish tank, and it had a little plaque on there that advertised the fish business. We said how great guys they were, and we know lots of people bought fish tanks from them. So it was very cool. All right, next, decor and design. What you're seeing is a snapshot into one of the facilities that I have and how we design it, but that's not what this is all about. When people come in to buy your product, the mistake you make as a martial arts school owner is you think that it's all about how well you punch and kick, and it ain't. It's not about just your service, okay, or your product. It's about three things primarily: your product, your service, and the service being how they feel about being in your facility, what you do for them and with them, and whether you're able to build a tribe. And the other part is the decor and the design. They pay for the facility. Don't think that you're not going to places that are high-end look high-end for a reason, okay? Places that are low-end look low-end. I had a client of mine who's, thankfully now he's made changes, but he wondered why a lot of people asked him why people wanted to pay less for his program, why they asked for discounts. And I said, bro, your place looks like a discount center. You got things broken, not maintained, all that stuff. So that being said, the sensory package is really important. And for martial arts schools, it can be a lot of things, but your sensory package is everything you feel, smell, hear, taste when you walk in, all right? Does the place smell like feet? Does it smell like a bouquet of flowers? Are you using Glade plugins? Do you have a little spray that goes above the door that shoots spray? Do you have crappy, dirty carpets? Are you cleaning them, all right? So do you have music playing? What do you visually see when you walk in? Most martial arts schools don't have plants. Huge mistake. I've got these big 8-foot bamboo plants that are awesome. They get a lot of attention, and they just make people feel nice. So that's all part of it. See, I think there are a lot of obstacles in life. I think there are a lot of obstacles that you can't control. You can't control the weather. You can't control politics. Matter of fact, real quick story, if I could squeeze this out. My best buddy, who's actually the VP of our franchise, used to own a nightclub when we were kids, and we were in our 20s. And he plans, he's got marginal success, man. He plans the biggest night ever, right? Huge night. He plans. He puts 20 grand in advertising. He has battles of the bands going. He's got a bunch of bands coming. He's got all the promoters in town are sending him stuff. He's got alcohol companies doing all the promotion with him. I show up there at like 10:30 because, like, you know, my best friend owns a club, man. I'm like the king. So I can't wait. I'm going to go in there. It's a big night. There's like 12 people in the club, right? And then the band. And I'm looking at the band, and they're kind of playing, but they're watching TV. They have like a drop-down screen, like a projection 10-foot screen. And then I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm looking, there's like 5 people on the dance floor, and the lights are bright. And I'm looking at him, and he's at the end of the stage with his head in his hands. And I go to him, I'm like, bro, what's the matter? He doesn't even lift his head. He just points to the TV. And I see the TV, and all I see is a white Bronco driving down, I think, the 405 in California. Now, so people wouldn't leave the house, obviously. Now, you guys all know what that was. That was OJ when he went on the run. Nobody left the TV, man. Nobody could pull themselves away from it or left their house. So you can't control that kind of stuff. But you know what you control? You can control the way your place looks, smells, feels. You can control whether people are greeted correctly when they walk in. That stuff you can control. So that being said, architecture is a really important part. All right? Architecture makes people feel a certain way. You also have to take into consideration the flow of people. You may have narrow spaces, wide spaces. Are you using, you know, people say about feng shui. Are you allowing furniture to like cut into straight to passageways or pathways, right? Are people going to feel uncomfortable? Are you using stuff that doesn't match, right? So the architecture, how you have your place laid out, is it designed to handle the flow of people correctly, coming inside the door and outside? I have 40 people walking in and 40 people walking out of my facility inside of 10 minutes. I got to make sure I have enough space in my lobbies that I can handle that. You know, do you have enough space in your lobbies with your seating and everything else that you can handle the flow of parents coming in and out, people coming in and out? You know, architecture. All right, paint. Listen, man, for X number of years, the martial arts schools were white. All right, I don't know whether it was a sale on white, whether, you know, the guys who came from other countries just painted everything white, but I think it was like the 80s, and it was like the most amazing renovation or innovation for martial arts schools ever. the advent of the blue and red stripe. And then everyone went nuts with it, right? They put it everywhere, blue and red stripes everywhere, blue and red stripes. Make everything a red, white, and blue theme. All American, very good. I guess it was like down in the South, and you know the blood and guts era of karate, and everyone liked the red, white, and blue theme. It's it's a little contradictory. We got an Asian martial art, and we got a red, white, and blue theme. You think like yoga, you think of Eastern philosophies, or you don't think of red, white, and blue. You think of earth tones, sage greens, olive greens, tans, browns, blacks, earth tones. So you really want to figure out, like, what is your place all about and what do you want to convey? And colors have a huge effect on how people perceive things. I watched a study once where they had a bunch of cops who were bench pressing. And what they did was when they bench pressed, they held a certain piece of paper in front of them. They held a blue piece of paper. They held a pink piece of paper. And when they held a blue piece of paper, the guys were able to lift, say, like 200 pounds. When they held the pink piece of paper, the guys could only press 180. So there was an effect on their aggression levels, and they used all kinds of papers for all kinds of things. The colors have a huge effect on how people feel. And you walk into places and go, oh, I feel awesome here. It feels great. People love Starbucks. They've got these earth tone colors. And think about it. When Starbucks became popular, people talked about the decor. We all did, right? So think about that when it comes to your school. And one of the things you can try is painting an accent wall. An accent wall is a strong color, all right, real dark, real bright color that you can use, that you just put on one out of 4 walls in a room, or 1 out of 3 walls, if part of the room is just open. And it allows you to have a splash of color without being overpowering. You can't paint the whole school red, but you can paint one wall red or yellow, for instance, right, or black. And you also got to think about the people that you have, like, red and black work great for men, all right, and for fitness, right, but they're not as great for kids. Blues and yellows are really good for kids. So you got to know some of the colors. And where do you learn this stuff? Just go look online. You'll listen to some really cool stuff, some great videos. You'll read some great reports. But get online and check this stuff out. Okay. Next is lighting. All right. Lighting is really clutch. In the picture you see here, we've got dome lighting. We've also got you see, like on the inspiration picture, the wall is washed with light, and it creates like different shades of colors. So it makes things not look flat. Even when they have fruit in supermarkets and vegetables, they want to use certain lighting to make the fruit look good. You know that you can go in a certain lighting and look like crap, and certain lighting you look like The Walking Dead, and then certain lighting you look like you're ready for your close-up. So lighting is really important. Don't just use standard fluorescent lights. Investigate some things, whether it's different bulbs that have UV lighting, so it's more like sunlight. Looking at putting some track lights or halogen lights in so you can get some different color variations on the walls. And like I said, you see a brick wall in the background, but you also see the light that's flashing on there that kind of illuminates a certain spot. So next is seating. Here's a great piece of advice. If you have folding chairs, I almost want you to say raise your hand if you have folding chairs. Great. Now put your hand down, get up after we finish here today, and throw your folding chairs out. So I don't mean to throw them out right away, but folding chairs do not convey that you are a quality program. I don't know any businesses that I go into that is a quality business that has folding chairs. If I went into a catering hall and I was paying a lot of money per seat, for a wedding or an event, and they gave me folding chairs, I'd have a heart attack. Get rid of your folding chairs. Put seating that makes it look like you are permanent. If you've ever tried to get 3-year memberships or 2-year memberships and people said, oh, I'm not sure, how do I know you're going to be here for that long? They're reacting to your business practices, but also reacting to your facility. Did you invest a lot of money in your facility? If you didn't, can you make it look like you did? There are ways to do things on a shoestring budget. The type of benching that you see me have here is permanent benching. It's from a restaurant supply company. And although they're not cheap, that bench right there you see is 12 feet long. It probably costs about $1,300. However, you can buy, if you look on eBay, you can find local stores, right? They're advertising on eBay that are restaurant supply that are selling used benches. I looked with a client once. We looked online. And I saw 6-foot benches that are similar to the ones you see there that needed new upholstery, but they were like $500. And you can go to places to get them reupholstered for only a couple $100. You'd be surprised. Maybe you can even borrow something with the guy who's doing it. You have no idea. But there's good opportunities for you to do something really cool. In my facilities, I do memberships on those benches. I fill out the intake forms. I don't have an office. We do everything out in the open, and now we're doing things on tablets and stuff. So it's making it even easier. But I wanted to pick something that was going to be different. Like, people are most comfortable in their houses on their couch. So we picked pretty comfortable couches to do stuff. It made it look a lot more loungy than it looked like, like a bad doctor's office. So seating is really important. And let's talk about upkeep. Upkeep is how well you maintain your place. And what that translates to in real language is whether you give a shit or not. If I walk into your place and you have moldy ceiling tiles, an exposed outlet, chips on the walls, paint that was never finished properly, I'm going to ascertain in a matter of seconds that you do not care about your business, therefore you do not care about me, therefore I do not want to spend money with you. And if you don't think it works like that, you're wrong. It does work like that. You have to start thinking like that, right? You have to really look at your business with a very suspect eye, like finish today, walk around and say, my God, what would a parent who has that like mothering instinct, like killer instinct, protects her baby, what is she thinking when she sees this place? Is she nervous about stuff? Is she looking at it and saying, this is unsafe? And even if they don't say those things consciously, trust me, my friends, they are saying them unconsciously to themselves. Sometimes you get feelings about things. You don't want to do something because you have a feeling. That's how you get feelings. You see a bunch of things that add up in your subconscious, and they're giving you a message without being, not being on the conscious plane of your mind. So take that stuff really seriously. Electrical cords laying out, all kinds of crap. All right, next. Developing a rock star staff. Now, I have 16 people that work in my main offices, and we've got 34 people, so I have just under 50 people that work in my locations. I have an easier time doing this than I've ever done before. Everything I learned in the industry taught me to screw it up, and I learned from people in other industries that were doing it really well and developed great staff. I spent a lot of time doing this. So here are my key points for developing a rockstar staff. First was personality versus skill. And a lot of businesses nowadays are realizing that skills are learned. Brain surgery is a skill. It is a step-by-step procedure. You and I can learn brain surgery. Take us a while, but we can learn it. You can't teach someone personality. You can't teach someone to be magnetic, charismatic, and to be awesome. You just can't do it. Or if somebody can, I can't do it, and I don't want to waste any time doing it. But I tell you what, if we have a contest, and before we get to that, here's the reality of it. So who do you hire in your schools? You hire the kid who was the spazziest kid you ever had, who after 6 years got his black belt. And he was like a super introvert, looked at his feet all the time and wouldn't talk to anyone. And you were so proud this kid is like practically a normal member of society. Like he's a teenager, he's 20 years old now, and his skin cleared up, and he looks okay, and he even has friends outside of the school, and maybe he even goes to a bar, or maybe he's even asked a girl to the prom or something. Dude, that's not the person you choose to be the front man for your place. That person has barely reached the minimum level of social acceptance, okay? You got them to be normal, but they're not rock stars. They're not going to be the person that's going to give you what you need to attract other people like he was, okay? You need the person that people have to say, not, oh, I see where he came from, that's really great progress, but like, oh my God, this person's amazing. I want to be like this person. So if we have a contest, right, of I'll take somebody who doesn't have martial arts skills but has an amazing personality, you take somebody who has martial arts skills and has a crappy personality or doesn't have a personality, and let's see who gets the better employee. We'll have a race. I guarantee you I'll win every time. Skill is easy to learn. We get so caught up in it as martial artists, and our business model is ridiculous. It takes 4 years to grow an employee. It's the most silly thing I've ever heard, all right? Personality versus skill. Look for people that are awesome. Look for people that have tons of friends on Facebook. Advertising classified ads for them. Monster. I found people everywhere, but I found really, really great people. You'd be amazed. Even for martial arts, so many people in the fitness industry have taken kickboxing or some type of martial art. It doesn't take a lot to teach them to know curriculum or to be up to speed. It really doesn't. Your students are coming in there 2 hours a week, a little bit of attention from you, and they're learning martial arts. You can teach someone in a matter of weeks to be at a certain level of skill. They can teach basic classes, teach beginners, and you'd just be surprised how fast you can really progress. So personality versus skill. Always look for the person who's got bubbly personality. Okay, pay them better. And the martial arts model sucks. This is a martial arts model. Hey, I'll get the guy to think part of his requirements is teaching class. Cool. So I got free help that way. Then I'll let him know that now he's a brown belt. He's got to teach X number of classes a week. Okay, great. Then now that he's a brown belt, a black belt, in order to maintain his black belt, he's got to be able to teach a certain amount of classes a week. Again, more free help, getting people to work in servitude, which is incredibly illegal, right? But we kind of do it as a rite of passage. At least in the old days when you interned, like in a printing shop or something, you were an apprentice, you left with the skills to go do it yourself. We just get pissed off when they do it themselves. But that's how apprentices work. You sold yourself into servitude for 3 years, you learned how to do printing, and then you went and opened up your own printing business. We don't want our people to do that, but we don't want to give them the benefit of paying them. The best thing we've done is this. I know what I'll do. I'll run an instructor program, get people to pay me for the privilege of working for me, under the guise that I'm going to open up a whole bunch of locations, and I've only got one for 20 years, so clearly I'm not really good at opening more. And then I'll let them work here for me as part of that program as well as they get trained. And we get surprised when people leave us. We get surprised when people open up down the road. It's insane. There's no one else who does that. It's not the way to run a business. I want to pay my people better than you pay because I want to take people from you. I want to take people from every other business in my area. I want to have a line of people coming to work for me. And quite honestly, I do. I pay, and I'll talk about the benefits in a minute, but I pay them better. And I don't pay people $10 an hour, $12 an hour. I pay people $14 to $16 an hour to start, right? And I have people that are making, I have several employees that are making over $100,000 this year, and I'm proud of that. These people won't leave me because there's no better opportunity. I focus on creating an environment that can provide them with enough money so they can do the right work for me and I can make more money. So pay them better than everybody else. Okay, a benefits package. Regardless of what's going on with Obamacare, right now I pay a full 100% health insurance and medical, all medical and dental as a package through Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield in New York. Costs me almost $600 a month per employee. I pay 100% of it, and it is a huge perk that people are happy to work for me at. A lot of other companies will have you pay 60, 70% or 40%, 50% out of pocket to cover the health insurance. For me, it's not health insurance. It is employee insurance. This ensures that I have a better chance of keeping my employees. I know what it's like to lose one and how much it costs me to get and train one, the right one. I'm not going to lose anybody. And I've had an amazing track record of not losing people the way I had many, many times over 20 years in business I had previously. So benefits package, vacation, sick. We give people 1 week's vacation. They start accruing sick days. They get 5 sick and personal days. Start accruing them after month 6. They get 1 a month. If they've been here for 6 months, they get health insurance after 90 days. They get 1 week's vacation after the first year, 2 weeks the second year, and third and fourth year they get 2 weeks. After the fourth year they get 3 weeks vacation. And I remember having people go on vacation when I had the martial arts schools years ago, and I would get mad about it. I would just get pissed. It was really bad. So benefits package is important, and do the right thing. I'm not a bank, but I've helped out employees a few times where I use part of their raise or part of their pay to lump sum pay off the debt for them or something like that. I've done everything I can to create the right environment for my employees and to build goodwill with them and do the right thing. I buy them lunch, I treat them well, I treat them like family, and they go to the mattresses for me. When I need work done, they get it done. If I need people to stay late, I don't often need it at all. It's a few times a year. There's not even a friggin' question about it. If I need the phones or an email answered at 8 o'clock at night, they will do it because I have invested in the relationship. Too many times in my career, I always looked at it like I was the one that everyone should be obligated to. Every time I look at my house, my cars, my boat, my things I have in my life, I look at my employees, I look at my clients, same way. And I'm thankful for them. And I didn't learn that from the martial arts industry. Right? And when I started doing that, things started to change for me when I started doing the right thing. So next, customer service. Wow, we got a boogie here. All right, customer service. This is the most important thing I think that martial arts schools are lacking. And I'm going to try and rip through it quickly because I know we only have about 13 minutes. All right, I'll give you some really cool customer service tips that I think are really important. Number one, when people come in, thank them. Thank them for coming in. Thank them when they leave. It doesn't sound like a big thing, but it's something that most martial arts schools don't do. When I used to run the school, I would sit at the front desk sometimes, be working on something. I would sometimes not even look up at people coming in. Like they'd come in, they'd bow, and I'd be like, whatever. Like I was like, it didn't even matter enough to me that I would look at them. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, thank them for coming in, thank them for leaving. When you have a kick-ass class and it's got 30 people in it, you know how great that energy is. No one likes to teach a class of 4 people. When you get a class of 30, let them know how great it was, and let them know, hey, man, you know what? It's so awesome teaching a group of really motivated people like this. I love when it's high energy in class. You have no idea what it's like teaching 4 people. It sucks. It's the worst thing ever. So I want to thank you guys for working so hard, right, and coming to class so frequently. And you make my job a lot easier, and I can go to sleep, really peacefully now that I know I did a great job, and you guys gave me some great energy. Great. Thank them, man. Let them know you appreciate them coming in. Second thing is use names, all right? No one likes any sound on the planet more than the sweet sound of their own name. Use them as frequently as possible and require your employees to learn every client's name. And again, I'm going to try and go quick through this. Write it down, all right? Nothing worse than when there's a problem, a complaint, a concern. Someone has to order merchandise. There's a defect in some part of the facility that needs to be repaired. And you go, oh, yeah, okay, we'll take care of it. They know you're not going to take care of it. Write it down. Show them that what they say was important to you. All right? There's too many times you're getting in hot water because you didn't write something down in the first place. So write it down when it's an issue. All right? Respond in 60 minutes. Phone calls and emails. We are focused on responding to everything within 60 minutes. Even if it's a response saying, hey, I can't respond to you right now. It'll have to be tomorrow. All right? Respond in 60 minutes. Ask for permission. I think this is a really powerful thing. It gives people the feeling of control, and it relieves a lot of anxiety. Whenever I do something, even if today, if we were in the webinar, I'd say, hey, listen, which I'm not doing today, but if I was speaking on stage, and I might say, if I was in an event, I might say, listen, I want to share some really awesome information with you guys today. And if it's okay at the end, and I'm not pitching or anything, so it's just, I want you guys to get your pen and paper, just awesome information. I'm not selling anything. But at the end, if it's okay, I just wanted to tell you about some of the services I have for like 2 to 3 minutes, and if you guys are interested, you can talk to me about them afterwards. Is that cool? And everyone goes, yeah. Ask for permission. How does it translate to a martial arts school? Hey, listen, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys around the facility. We're going to introduce you to your instructors today, who are awesome. And I'm actually going to introduce you to some of the members. Sidebar for a second. If you came to my house to a party, the first thing I would do as my guest is I would introduce you to other people in the party. Think about that for your martial arts school. So I ask for permission. Hey, I'm going to show you around this, introduce you to this person. Then we're going to take a killer class. Hopefully, if you don't need life support at the end, would be cool if I showed you a way that you could save $100 on your tuition by taking advantage of a special we have and getting started on your first day. Is it okay if I go over that with you? And they go, yeah, sure. So at least you relieve some anxiety. They kind of know what's going to happen later on, so it's pre-framing, but they like to be asked for permission. People like to have control, even if it's only the illusion of control. So next, okay, good, we're wrapping this up, is your product, all right? And your product is, for the most cases, your classes, right? The martial art that you teach. Make your product always be on time. When I think of Starbucks, and I think in my model, I try and think a lot. I learn a lot about franchises. I learn about the predictability of franchises. Always on time, all right? The worst thing you do to someone is let them know their time is not valuable by starting class 5 minutes late, ending class 5 minutes late. Then people get conditioned to come 5 minutes late. Now class is starting 7 minutes late. Then you're making excuses for people who are waiting for the next class at the door to come in. It's a debacle. Always on time. End on time, start on time. Make that part of your mission statement for your employees, all right? Make it a mantra, all right? Be like Gestapo-like with that. Second thing is predictable. And what the franchise model is a predictable model, right? McDonald's may not be the best French fries, but you know that every time you go there, it's going to be the same French fries. Make your class predictable. Have curriculum that's not, changing on a day-to-day basis. I think getting together with people that, and if you have trouble with curriculum, go to people who are awesome at creating curriculum. Like Melody Schumann, for instance, is amazing at creating kids' curriculum. Stop messing around with trying to figure out how to do this and make this a predictable format, and go to people like Melody or find someone else who's got curriculum stuff that will really take the load off your shoulders doing this stuff, and it will give an easy format for your instructors to follow. So make your classes predictable, both in curriculum, both in quality, both in content. Next is be about their needs. Big mistake in the martial arts industry is we make things about us. To the case in point, I studied martial arts for I got to do my instructor voice, right? I studied martial arts for 20-something years. I learned I learned this style, this style, this style. I've got the most perfect, awesome method of self-defense. Now I'm going to find people to buy it from me. That is a failed business model waiting to happen. So the way things really work is you and I are partners. We make a product together. Say we're in the beverage business. We are going to do taste testing. I always use this example. There's an A and a B cup. You and I, right, me and you, we're partners. We both like the A cup. I think it tastes awesome. But we go to the mall and we do taste tests, and 95% of everyone takes the B. So what do? Do we take A or B? Of course, we take B, because that's the one that people are going to buy. But you're not doing that with your martial arts. You just decided that you liked A. You had your own ideas of what you wanted to do, and you did it. And then now your mission is to try and force the public to buy A. Meanwhile, they wanted to buy B. Huge mistake. It could be a whole other day discussion about this concept, and we don't have time to cover it all today. But, oh, by the way, I'm going to be at a UP and ChampionsWay seminar in, San Antonio on the 8th and 9th or something. And I know we have a small roundtable group set up where I'm going to talk about things like this. So if you guys haven't registered, get your butt off this webinar when we finish and register for it. I know there's still spots left. And for people who register, if you mention the webinar you're going to, we'll do a special roundtable. You guys can be in a special meeting with me, and we're going to cover cool stuff like this. But let's go back to this. Make things about their needs, right? Not about your needs. And the minute you accept this idea and you put your ego aside, you'll make a better.
Welcome to GoToWebinar, web events made easy.
So it's your job. All right. So next, listen. This is really, it sounds simple, but it's a really underrated thing. People want to be heard. People want to be heard when it comes to complaints, when it comes to compliments. Listen to people. Become an expert at listening, right? Not nodding your head and just waiting to talk. Waiting to talk is not listening, all right? Learn to listen. More about this later. Reality show, right? Most of you have taught class in the last week, I would say. Just nod your heads. I'm going to imagine you're all nodding your heads. Was it the best class you've ever taught? Nod your head yes for yes and no for no. Okay. Could you teach better? Everyone's nodding their head yes. Okay, great. If last class you taught, if it was a reality show and you were in a contest for the best class ever and you're going to be featured nationally if you won, would that have been your best submission? Would that have been your best effort? Condition your staff to believe they are auditioning for a reality show. Not for real, obviously, but have that same type of zeal, that same type of enthusiasm, that same type of, bring that same kind of heat. Like if you were going for you're one bite at the apple, you're big shot. All right, so do it. All right, next, mentorship. All right, nobody can do it alone. This is not a plug for me or anyone else, but find mentors in your life in all kinds of things. I have at least 2 mentors for different things that I go to when I want to use them as a soundboard. I don't rely on them as much to teach me as much as I do for coaching and for listening to my crazy ideas sometimes and see what they have to say. I value their opinions. But there was a time when these guys really helped me to get to where I am right now. And you cannot do it alone. So for whatever group you're in, if it's, and I know we're going down to this event, and there's, UP's got a great coaching program. There are great people in the industry that you can learn from. And what you got to do is you got to investigate. You got to do due diligence and find out who these people are and what they're about. Don't just follow the money. It was a big mistake I made. Don't follow the money. Follow the lifestyle. Follow people who you connect with, that you want to be around, because it's not just the quality of money, it's the quality of life. And it's the quality of relationships you have. So do some investigating. There's some very, very great people in the industry. I can't tell you who they are just because I think they're great doesn't mean they're great for you. But find out about that. Okay. And last but not least, I'm going to teach you guys one sneaky trick that'll blow away your competition. Now, I have 100 of these things. I'm going to try and think of one right now that I hadn't planned on. Okay, here it is. If you have a prize wheel or anything else for referral generation, if you have contests, I'm not saying contests are bad. I hate prize wheels. But throw out everything you have and learn this one thing. You learn this one thing, you'll never, ever, ever in the history of your life will have to ask for a referral again. And it's something we do that's really successful. And it's a little bit of a sneaky trick, man, but it is awesome. And it'll be the best referral generator you've ever done. You've never heard this from anyone in the industry unless it came from me, because I made it up. So here's how it works. When we would have people come in, we would always leave a Starbucks cup on the desk. And I say when we did is because I don't do it anymore, but my staff still does it. A Starbucks cup. During the intake, when you're speaking to people, find a way to ask them, oh, I love Starbucks. Hey, man, what's your favorite Starbucks drink? They'll tell you. Write it down. Later on, person's joined, kids are coming. Every 2-3 days a week, send one of your girls or guys out to Starbucks and have them bring back drinks for the parents that are in the lobby exactly to their orders. Your clients will be blown away. You'll spend $50 a week, whatever. You will get people come paint your house. They will fix your car. They will do anything. They will heal your pets. I've had people offer to do anything for me just because we bought them a cup of coffee. So if you want to be successful at generating referrals and building great will with your clients, stop giving them stupid gifts that they don't use. Stop giving them pencil cases and book covers and all that promotional crap that you give out at school time. right? Forget that stuff. Forget about the prize wheels. Forget about, giving them karate bucks and baiting them with all that crappy gimmicky stuff. Do something that's cool, man. Something that people will be blown away about, that you'll have people Instagramming those photos saying, hey, my kid's karate teacher bought me this, and they'll plug your facility. You'll never ask them to do it. That's all about reciprocation, all right? And it's about being cool. It's about coming to people with a giving hand and showing them that you care about them and not worrying about whether or not they reciprocate or worry about them giving you something back. But the reality of it is, if you do these things, and it's kind of like the Force, man, it can be used for good or evil. If you do it for good things will come back to you. I mean, it's guaranteed. But I'm not suggesting you do it for that reason. Do it to be cool and do it to be different. Who else gives them a free cup of coffee? Nobody does that, man. Nobody. A card in the mail is cool. Yeah. All right, awesome card is cool. A cup of coffee blows away awesome card, prize wheel, and 75 other lame things that you guys have done in the past. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'm trying to get under the wire here. Hope you guys really enjoyed the seminar. You guys can friend me on Facebook if not, and feel free to email me if you have any questions about the presentation.